Hello, white people. White people need to celebrate Juneteenth. I spent last Saturday afternoon at the Juneteenth celebration in Williamsport, a joyful afternoon of music, dance, food, and fellowship for hundreds of people. Most of the people there were much younger than me, obviously indoctrinated, and most of them were people of affirmative action. Why does an old white man go to celebrate Juneteenth? As many people have learned in the last few years, slavery did not end with the Emancipation Proclamation. As the Confederate Army retreated, the Confederates are the new Nazis, more areas heard about the proclamation, and more former slaves were set free. What is this definition of set free? Did these people who were set free have places to live, food to eat, clothes to wear, and ready-made jobs? Of course they didn't. On June 19, 1865, the Union Army reached Galveston, Texas, and proclaimed the last of the slaves to be free. The celebration of freedom became known as Juneteenth. A people who had never been free are going to celebrate being free? Okay, that's delusional. But it remained largely unknown among whites until it was proclaimed a national holiday last year. Juneteenth has not been unknown among our affirmative action American neighbors. The event has been celebrated with family and neighborhood gatherings for many years. Oh, just many years. It has also been known to those who have learned a little bit of phony affirmative action, history, and culture. I am not the descendant of slave owners, denying being a hook-nose. In fact, the first of my family didn't come to this country until after the Civil War, so you have whiter skin and you're not an ethnic American. Okay. Even though much of my family came from Holland, I'm sure that none of them ever had the money to own one of the Dutch ships that brought slaves from Africa. Okay. I didn't benefit directly from slavery. I don't celebrate Juneteenth to try to expiate some family sin. Oh, look at that virtue signaling. I recognize, however, that all my life I have benefited from the unwarranted privilege that comes from having white skin and a hook nose. School teachers didn't make assumptions about my ability as they did my affirmative action classmates who have an average IQ of 85 or less. I never learned that I needed to be afraid of the police. Right. Even after one of my affirmative action American schoolmates was killed by the police. So much drama. I've never been followed around in a store to make sure that I didn't steal anything. Oh, I have. I've never been refused service. I have. And I'm white as it gets, or even received slower service because of the color of my skin. I had no trouble establishing credit when I finished college. That is retarded because they do not look at your face or your name. They just look at your credit score when they give you credit. But okay, liar. In short, I had all the usual benefits that white people take for granted, the hook-nosed people who pose as whites take for granted. I may not have benefited directly from slavery, but I've lived my life with white privilege that all my affirmative action friends have never had. Because, whites are only 8% of the global population, and living in a white country it's just privilege. I celebrate Juneteenth with those friends as a way to renew my commitment to help make the advantages that I had available to others and to rejoice at the strength and resilience of the affirmative action American culture that has survived and grown through centuries of oppression. Centuries of oppression, right? Not having their own language, their own written language. Don't document history. Okay, that's our fault. Juneteenth celebrates freedom. Does it? More than the end of slavery. Not really. The freedom of a growing culture that includes elements of Africa, of slavery, and of modern American life. There are elements of anger, of course, anger over freedom that was denied for years. Okay, citation needed. And has never been fully realized in the United States. Again, citation needed. Dr. Martin Luther King, MLK. Oh, and by the way, MLK, Moloch, reminded us over and over that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Yeah, Dr. Martin Luther King, MLK, Moloch, he was a communist, but okay, yeah. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. The injustice that my affirmative action sisters and brothers have suffered, didn't say brothers and sisters, he said sisters and brothers, it's total virtue signaling, have suffered and continue to suffer is a threat to the liberty and justice for all, which we claim in the Pledge of Allegiance. Well, yeah, that was meant for white people. My road to seeking justice and celebrating Juneteenth has come through watching racial prejudice in schools, churches, and the rest of society. It has come through being the pastor, always a pastor now, of a predominantly affirmative action congregation, and later as pastor of one of the few integrated congregations in rural southwestern Ohio. Oh, for gosh sakes, he's down in my area. It has come through sharing with friends, telling the stories of the discrimination they have suffered. Whatever. This road has led me now to the regional chapter of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, co-sponsors of the Juneteenth celebration. But this road of seeking justice cannot end here, because none of us is truly free until all people are truly free to live their lives and enjoy their culture in peace. Oh, put on the brakes. Yeah, right. So white people are not allowed to live free and enjoy their culture. Just the made-up narrative is. Okay, each of us must find our own lane on the highway to freedom for everyone. Freedom for everyone, huh? Except for white people. I've shared a little of my journey on that highway. I invite you to join us on that journey to justice and freedom for all. Doug Orbachberg lives in Mifflinburg. I don't even know where that's at. It's supposed to be in southwest Ohio somewhere. Good God, I'm never going to go there. I'm going to put some sort of GPS blocker in my phone to stay away from that probably satanic town. All right, white people, that is the stupidity for now. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to your thoughts below.